That's right, April. A few minutes ago, I talked with a spokesperson with the state fire marshal's office. They have ruled this fire as an arson. Investigators on the scene, one by one, ruled out any possible accidental causes. Therefore, they say now that this fire was intentionally set. Good morning again, Jack, and I think all the crowds are coming in spurts because it was really crowded several hours ago. It died down. Now I think it's starting to pick back up, as you can see from the cash register area behind me. You've probably had your Christmas tree up for a while, but today we met one man who gave a whole new meaning to waiting till the last minute. This year, the number of riders is expected to increase by 15%. More trails are also expected to be added as this attraction continues to make its mark on the state's tourism industry. Well, Sandra, it really depends upon where you live and how you drive. Right now, I'm in one of our station's four-wheel drive vehicles, and I'm going to take off driving up this hillside here. There are thousands of these types of hillsides across West Virginia. As you can see, this one just happens to be clear of snow and ice, but that may not be the case for other hillsides across the state, leading many to believe they need a four-wheel drive in the winter. Now, the other aspect of this fire is those oxygen tanks that were inside this trailer. Investigators believe they have rounded up all of these oxygen tanks that went throughout the neighborhood. One of those tanks went 300 feet into a neighbor's yard.
It was a cannon, dude. It was loud, sparks flew and everything.
Brian Moore lives across the street from the fire. He had just returned home when he heard the explosion. A flying oxygen tank from the burning trailer made a dent in Brian's front yard and rolled down the hill.
It was pretty scary, especially when you look around and see an oxygen tank bottle fly from over there to right there behind you.
Several calls went into dispatch and said that they heard lots of explosions from up here. The cause of that apparently was several oxygen tanks.
Frank Gabbridge and his wife made it safely out of the burning structure. He says he was asleep when his wife woke him up because their couch had caught fire.
And we started getting water out of the sink and pots and throwing it, put on them, and it just kept on going.
At that point, the couple had to get out of their home.
Oxygen is an accelerant. Unless it gets to a spark, it's not going to do nothing. If it's in a fire, I mean, it'll blow up. But other than that, and there's no open flames at all in that house. So I don't know how, I have no idea how it would have started.
Now the Gabbridges will start the task of rebuilding their lives.
I'm just glad you guys made it out alive all right. Because it went up just like in a matter of minutes. Investigators have determined that the fire started in the living room. Again, it's now an arson investigation. And if you have any information that would help the state fire marshal investigators determine, more information on this blaze, you're asked to call this number toll free. It's 1-800-233-3473. We will put that number on our website, WOWKTV.com. Live here in the Charleston studios, Gil Mcclanahan, 13 News. Cool down's good news. Thanks so much, Brittany. In the news tonight, organizers of the March to Blair Mountain estimate that as many as 2,000 were there for the final push up the mountain, where environmental activists and coal supporters collided. 13 News' David Iverson has more and what you need to know.
West Virginia. Live and local in Blair, David Iverson, 13 News.
The rally is sparking a lot of national attention. CNN is running an hour-long documentary on coal mining in the Appalachians, and 7 minutes of it is dedicated to this week's march. The documentary is scheduled to air August 14th. Police are investigating a shooting in Institute this evening. That shooting happened shortly before 6:30 this evening in the area of Marshall Avenue. Dispatchers say one person was reportedly shot in the hand. According to deputies, the suspects were driving a silver Dodge Magnum with chrome wheels. Police are investigating that incident. Smithers Police and West Virginia State Police are investigating how a woman was struck by a jet ski on the Kanawha River. The accident happened east of the Montgomery Bridge just after 4 this afternoon. Lieutenant James Bowles of the Smithers Fire Department said the victim had fallen off a jet ski just before being struck by another jet ski. Authorities have not released the name of the victim. A motorcycle accident in Lincoln County sends one person to the hospital. That accident happened on Patty's Branch Road near Ranger around 8 o'clock this evening. Dispatchers say the motorcycle went into a ditch, flipped, and the driver suffered a broken arm and back injuries. He was transported to Cabell Huntington Hospital by Lincoln County EMS. Early this morning, a house fire was reported in the Silverton area of Jackson County. According to 911 dispatchers, no injuries were reported at that fire. The cause of the blaze is not yet known. A burglary investigation in St. Albans leads to the discovery of a meth lab and the arrest of a husband and wife. Authorities arrested Christopher Hill and his wife Laura in connection with the meth lab discovery. Investigators say they went to the couple's residence on Zirkle Street to follow up on leads from a burglary investigation. While there, they smelled meth and found the makings of a meth lab. More charges may be forthcoming against other individuals in this case. One of 3 men who escaped from the Huntington Work Release Center last week was captured last night. Cabell County Sheriff Tom McComas says 25-year-old David Popp was apprehended in the Bluefield area by a task force in southern West Virginia. Popp will be charged with escape and transferred back to Huntington. Another escapee, David Knight, was captured on Wednesday. A third escapee, DeJuan Jones, is still on the run tonight. Well, a new person is now at the helm of WVU football. Bill Stewart is out and Dana Holgerson is in as head football coach at West Virginia University. WVU Athletic Director Oliver Luck held a press conference last night to notify the media that Bill Stewart would no longer be the head coach at WVU and that Dana Holgerson would immediately fill that position. It capped off several weeks of speculation as numerous rumors had surfaced about the future of the WVU coaching staff.
He is ready for this challenge and understands the enormous responsibility that goes along with it. I have 100% confidence in Coach Holgerson and in our offensive and defensive assistant coaches.
We will have more on the coaching shakeup at West Virginia University in our WVI report. That's coming up a little bit later in sports. The changing of the guard at WVU football is also the topic of this week's Decision Makers. Host Bray Carey sits down with WVU Director of Athletics Oliver Luck and new head coach Dana Holgerson to discuss the latest developments in the Mountaineer football program. You can watch Decision Makers tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. right here on WOWK TV 13. The WVU football situation is also the topic of our 13 News Weekend web poll. We are asking, with the announcement of Stewart out and Holgerson moving up, does this put the controversy to rest and allow WVU to move on? To vote, just go to our website, WOWKTV.com. We know there are hundreds of retirement villages in states like Florida and Arizona, and now one is being developed right here in West Virginia. The Wiseman family of Putnam County brought the former Bronco Junction campsite in 2002, and now they're creating a West Virginia retirement village. More than 30 years ago, Bronco Junction was a thriving camp for asthmatic children in Putnam County. The sounds of nature can now be heard throughout the area since the camp closed in 1983, and the sight of campers have been replaced with the sight of wildlife. In 2002, the Wiseman family brought the camp out of bankruptcy, with many of the buildings at the camp showing their age.
Had it for a couple years and finally decided, we was going to do something with it, and kind of decided to make a retirement home for retired, semi-retired older folks that want to get out in the country.
It's mixed emotions. At least it's not just run down.
Tammy Cheney of South Charleston is a former Bronco Junction camper.
The memories are so vivid when you walk out there. Although the things aren't there and the cars aren't there and the people aren't there, the memories are there. So in a way, it's good that they're taking care of the place.
Later this summer, the Wisemans are getting ready to welcome Cheney and dozens of other former Bronco Junction campers.
We're proud that they want to come back and get back out in the country where they were at. These kids have a lot of memories.
Now the Wisemans are hoping some retired families will also make memories at the former Bronco Junction camp. 3 units have been created from the dining hall and infirmary, with plans to possibly add more. The Wisemans say the former campsite has opportunities for retirees to enjoy fishing, hiking, and biking.
Ritter Park in Huntington turned into an art gallery today. Paintings, portraits, and even sculptures lined the park's walking trail. Members of the Tri-State Arts Association displayed and sold their works to those who passed by. The two-day event is a part of the association's plan of bringing local art into the local spotlight. Artists at the event say being at the park makes it more enjoyable for everyone.
I think it helps the park. I think that, it shows community, it helps show the community spirit to help the local artists. We have wonderful artists in this area. And it's just being outdoors, plein air as they say, and it's just communicating with other artists and getting, it's a nice way to do that.
Art in the Park will continue tomorrow afternoon from noon till 5, and the Tri-State Art Association is planning another sale in September. Still to come tonight on 13 News at 11, is he staying or is he going? The latest in the continuing saga of New York Congressman Anthony Weiner when 13 News at 11 returns. Stay with us. Brittany, I love seeing that 80-degree temperature next week. Yes. Can you make it continue?
No, unfortunately I can't. We're going to be back in the mid-80s by the middle of the week, but we are going to see a little bit of a reprieve from the 90s as we start off next week, and we end the weekend with temperatures in the lower 80s. We could see an isolated storm as we start off tomorrow morning, but partly cloudy skies Monday and Tuesday remaining dry. And then another front bringing warmer air by the middle of the week and another chance for some rain and storms. But it's actually not that bad. I mean, mid-80s. It's not 90s.
Absolutely. With this heat wave we've had, it's almost like jacket weather, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
Is that seasonal?
Yeah, it is. Pretty seasonal. Right around 80, so we'll be a little bit above normal by the middle of the week.
Alrighty, that sounds very good. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us. That's all the time we have for 13 News at 11. We will see you back here.